So, Monday morning, we're looking at a pretty bad start again for Facebook. It's down 12%, which means it's now way below its IPO price, and it's even below the top of the original range it was coming up with its IPO price. Now, with me, I've got Rob Siren and Richard Beals, who worked on the calculator we did and the valuations on Facebook. So, let's go to you first, Richard. What on earth do you think has happened here? We thought this was worth a lot less than 104 billion market value.
So we thought it was overhyped, overvalued. It sold, whatever, IPO at the IPO price. It's now falling. Now, there could be two things at work. One is that people think we were kind of right, which is that it's worth.
It's always nice.
You know, we kind of said the most, when the original range came out, the bottom of it was $28 a share. We said that bottom end of that range was about the only price you could even get a kind of realistic idea of. Probably less would be better. But the other thing that's at work is this NASDAQ screw-up on the first day of trading, which seems like it. The more we hear about it, the worse it seems to be. It left people not knowing what their positions were for a long time. So it's hard to tell how much that is feeding through the market action right now as well.
Rob, on the valuation, you noticed something else as well, which is a lot of the Facebook-like companies were
all the mini Facebooks, like mini-me's kind of. They went out like companies like Zynga, like Groupon, like all the other kind of social media companies went out. And for investors, it was like, okay, you can't get Facebook. Well, you can get Groupon. You probably didn't want it, but you know, it's something. Yeah. And the problem is now that Facebook's out there, people are dumping these stocks as well. Zynga's about half the price it was originally at, and Zynga's actually a good company, and a company like Groupon as well.
So I mean, how's that work? If Facebook's going down and Zynga's going down and Groupon's going down, then where's the money gone? Is it still in Facebook, or is it?
The money's gone to someone's pockets, or it's vaporized. That's where it's gone. The problem is that these companies, they're kind of calibrated to Facebook, and if Facebook's value is going down off the pop, then they'll probably go down as well.
But here's the other feature of this. I mean, you've got to be, obviously this was a very high-profile IPO, and you can draw some conclusions from it. You also got to be a little careful doing that because it was so big and so hyped. And one of the other points that Rob and others of my colleagues have made before the Facebook went public is the real winners were always going to be the VC, venture capital firms, the insiders who already owned Facebook stock. And they got what they wanted, which was a high IPO price. So they get to exit with massive, massive returns. I mean, these are people who may have paid only single digits for the stock. Even last year, Goldman, the sort of
$50
Goldman offering was about half. At half the price of where Facebook went public. So those guys got what they wanted. The retail investors, or at least public market investors, seem to be getting stiffed here.
And the other thing, of course, as you mentioned, is NASDAQ. I mean, they screwed up this deal somehow. The technology, Bob Greifeld, the CEO, says has gone completely wrong. And the weird thing is it seems to be somewhat new technology for creating an auction around an IPO on the biggest deal they've ever done.
This is what makes me laugh about this. There was this kind of excitement about who was going to win, who was going to be the exchange, was it going to be NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange? NASDAQ were very excited to win it. And then somehow they do the IPO on technology that they hadn't tested out somehow, and it went wrong. I mean, what sort of disaster is it?
It's not quite as bad as the Bats disaster.
No, Bats, which of course was the IPO, the IPO of the exchange, listed on its own exchange that failed so badly that they cancelled it. Yes, this by that measure is a complete success for Facebook. But no, that was a pretty bad one. Right, look, well, I'm sure we're going to have more to say on Facebook, and we'll be watching the valuation, and we'll be back with more breaking views tomorrow.